Hi guys, so let's talk about the midpoint formula and we'll just get right into it. So the midpoint formula between 2 points, so let's say I have the point x1, y1 and then another point x2, y2. So the midpoint is a point. You find the first point by taking x1 and x2 and dividing by 2, and then you find the y part of the coordinate by taking y1 and y2 and dividing by 2. So in other words, this is really just like an average, so that's really what the midpoint formula is doing. It's just taking an average of the distances between the x's and the y's. So let's just go ahead and apply this. So let's find the midpoint between these 2 points. So we've got -5, -6, and -3, 2. Okay, so to set this up, so I'm going to have -5 plus -3 divided by 2, and then -6 plus 2 divided by 2. So that's going to come out to -8 divided by 2 and -4 divided by 2, and so that's going to give me -4 and -2. So I think it's pretty straightforward to use. The more complicated question related to the midpoint looks like this. So let's say that I'm given the midpoint of a line segment, 5, 8, and then I'm also given the endpoint of that line segment, 11, 10. And we're asked what is the other endpoint. So this is what I actually want to spend more time on in this video. So just to summarize that information, I was given the midpoint and the endpoint. Okay, so we know then that, so basically what we're trying to do is I've got the x1 and I'm trying to find the other x. So I know if I divide this part by 2, and then if I take 10 plus whatever that y is and divide by 2, I will get 5, 8, right? So you can see that this is basically like 2 mini math equations, right? So I've got 11 plus x divided by 2, this needs to equal 5. And then I've also got 10 plus y divided by 2, this needs to equal 8. So if in both of these equations, if I multiply this whole equation both sides by 2, so let's see, I'll multiply this whole equation by 2 and this side by 2, that will allow me to cancel out the 2's on this side, so I'm left with 11 plus x equals 10. So if I subtract off the 11, I get that one endpoint will be -1. And then if I repeat that over here, so I multiplied both sides by 2, so that will give me 10 plus y equals 16. I can subtract off the 10 to get y equals 6. So my other endpoint will be the point -1, 6. And so that is kind of the harder application, I guess, of the midpoint. So I thought it would be good if you tried this one on your own. So I've got oops, sorry, let me show you just the information. I went to the wrong screen. So now I've got the midpoint is going to be 3, 1, and then the endpoint of the line segment is 6, 8. So I want to know once again, what is the other endpoint? So now I've got that my midpoint is 3, 1, and the other endpoint is 6, 8. Now remember, I always say that math is not a spectator sport, so personally I think that you should pause the video here and that you should try to work this out, just to make sure that you've got it, because you're probably going to have to do some homework on this, right? So you want to make sure you understand it. Pause here, hit play when you think you're ready. Alright, so if I set this up again, so let's see, I'm going to have 3 plus x divided by 2 and 1 plus y. Oops, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. The endpoint was 6 and 8, okay, divided by 2. I know that this has to equal 3, 1. So that's, if you can see, I almost made the fatal error, right? So you want to just make sure you keep the midpoint and the endpoint straight. And now I can set up those 2 little mini equations again. So these are the 2 things that I need to solve. So if I multiply this whole equation by 2, this will become 6 plus x equals 3. And then, 6 plus, gosh, where is my brain? 6 plus x equals 6. And so then I get the x just equals 0. And then for this other one, so if I multiply both sides by 2, I get 8 plus y equals 2. And so then if I subtract off the 8, I get y equals -6. So my other endpoint will be 0, -6. Okay, and so just to throw in one that looks harder than it actually is, but I want to talk about it because I don't want to throw you off your game. I want you to feel ready for this. Okay, so the midpoint of a line segment now is 2a, 5b, and the endpoint of that line segment is -1, 9b, so what is the other endpoint? So a problem like this is totally meant to just make you nervous, and you're not going to do that, right? So here's the deal. I've got the midpoint, I've got the endpoint. I think you should try this, even if you're looking at this saying, oh, I don't know what to do because it has the letters in it. It's seriously the same setup. So set it up the same way. Set up the two mini equations. You know you're going to have to multiply both sides by 2. Try to go through the motions and see if you can surprise yourself with this. The worst that happens is that you get stuck and then you got to watch how to do it, but you'll get more out of this if you just try. Okay, so I'm going to start this one. So let's see. I have -1, so -1a. I'm going to set it up exactly like the other ones. -1a plus x divided by 2. And 9b plus y divided by 2. This is going to equal the endpoint 2a. Gosh, it's getting to be dinner time, so I think I'm getting hungry here. Okay, 2a, 5b. All right, so now I've got -1a plus x divided by 2. This is going to equal 2a, and then my other mini equation. So I'm literally just following the same steps, right? I haven't even really had to think about the fact that there's other variables. Okay, so now I've got to multiply both sides by 2. I can do this, right? So if I multiply both sides by 2, this side becomes 4a. So then I've got -1a plus x equals 4a. And now I really want to solve for x, right? So then I just add 1a to both sides, and I get x equals 5a. Does it look weird? Sure. Is that a problem? No. Given the context of the problem, this is what we were, this is the context of the problem, so it's totally fine. So it's going to be the same thing over here. And by the way, if you were feeling a little nervous about this, maybe try to finish the problem before you watch the rest of the solution. Okay, so now I've got 9b plus y equals 10b, right? So I multiplied both sides by 2. So then if I subtract off the 9b, I get y just equals b. So my other endpoint will be 5a comma b. Does it look a little funny? Sure. Nothing wrong with it though. In the context of the problem, it's all good. Okay, so this was just a nice short and sweet video for you guys. Hopefully this was helpful. It's always great when you guys leave a like, comment, or you hit that subscribe button. And otherwise, I will talk to you guys in another video. Thanks for watching.